I forgot to tell you, Brian, we're going live to announce the new things for the channel.
Hi.
You look like a deer in the headlights. What's going on, Nola? We are live. It's Nola Film Scene with TJ and Plaideau. This is our first.
He's TJ.
And he's Plaideau.
Hey.
And this is our first ever live stream for the podcast.
We did it!
Yay! So we're coming to you today with a few announcements, things with the channel growing. We are finally launching the YouTube channel, so we're going to start publishing the video podcast versions of past and upcoming episodes on YouTube. I think that's going to be a fun thing to see the video versions.
We have had many requests for different episodes. When's the YouTube coming out? We're trying. Took us a little bit. Thank you for waiting, but we finally did it.
So bear with us if we make mistakes. They're bound to happen because ain't no fixing it in post when you're live. Yeah. I forgot to tell you, Brian, we're going live to announce the new things for the channel.
Hi.
You look like a deer in the headlights. So also, the video versions of the podcast are starting to upload to Spotify, so you'll be able to view some of the videos on that platform. And we'll also start dropping some of the videos on Facebook as well. And yes, we will be on YouTube Music as well.
Finally, we're growing. Let's pause. We got to pause for a second because there's two things that I want to congratulate you on. One is us. We've passed our 1-year anniversary. That was September 2nd since we dropped our first episode. And we were told by many, well, maybe not physically told, but the research said, you're never going to get 1,000 downloads in your first year. Don't even worry about it. Don't stress. And we hit 2,000 right before our 1-year anniversary. And we're
sitting at about 2,500 right now.
Yeah.
And I'm blown away.
Yeah. All we can do is thank the listeners. TJ, I have to give you the hugest shout out because your technical computer expertise, without you, I would never do this. So thank you for inviting me. You're welcome. You're welcome. And two, go ahead.
Sorry. No. Go ahead. I forgot you had a count.
And it's hard for me to count. Two is happy birthday. It's TJ's birthday.
It is. Wow. Time flies when you're getting older. Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Congratulations on making 21. You can go have a drink tonight.
That's right. Can get into casinos now.
Hey, still can't rent a car. You have to wait about 4 years.
It's 25, huh? Yeah.
Yep. One day.
People are confused. So the channel, the podcast is growing. I can't believe it has been a year. A lot of the metrics that we read about in the very beginning was most podcasts don't make it past 10 episodes. People just give up. We've been fortunate that we've had listeners that are coming back week after week to check out our content. And I feel like we've been very lucky thanks to Brian, because Brian is the celebrity wrangler. And he's the one that reaches out to most of our guests to schedule them to come on. So if you're interested in coming on the podcast and you have an interesting story, hit Brian up and we'll talk about it.
Hit me up. Let's talk. I also kind of had another thought because we're planning on doing this live stream regularly, which is easy for me to say. And I talk for a living, as you can tell. So one of the ideas I had is, if you're in the film industry and you have a question, a lot of times TJ and I are approached by people who are just starting out and how do I do this? What should I concentrate on? And then that weekly episode or bi-weekly, whatever we come out and do, we can answer those questions. If you're not in the film industry, we don't want to exclude you. What kind of questions would you have that we could answer with our limited experience, but we still have some experience and we have a lot more to learn and to grow. So hit me up on Facebook, send me messages in the comments of this other post. Hey, I'd like to know this. And I'll be putting out posts to ask for those questions so we can answer them in time as we go along.
And if we don't know the answer to it, we've got a bunch of friends in the industry that will. And since you brought that up, Brian, in Buzzsprout, there's a new feature where listeners can message us. It's like a text message thing that can be done straight from their phone, and it comes into the account. So that's a good way, a good mechanism to send us questions to answer on the podcast. And it's not public. We can toggle it on if, for instance, we get a compliment, we can toggle that on to where it can be viewed by the public, but general questions will not necessarily be public. Cool. I don't know how often we're going to live stream, but we are planning a regular live stream. We're going to talk about it and see what works and see what listeners are interested in hearing from us about. Yep. We've gotten a lot of really positive feedback, so that's really encouraging for me to continue on this journey. A lot of podcasters starting out that don't have the reach that Brian has. Sometimes they're publishing content and there's not really, other than family and friends, they don't get a lot of listeners. So we've been very fortunate to have connections. Thank you to Brian.
Oh, you're welcome. And some of it has been chance. I started working background. You make friends, actors like TJ and myself, and then there's crew. There's great people there. And I'm always like, hey, let's be friends on social media. And a lot of it's for me when I clean bars in the middle of the night. I work graveyard shift for my day job. I get kind of bored, So that's a way for me to keep in contact with people. And it's kind of exploded for me doing this career. And so if you start meeting people that way locally, and then they might be friends with someone like Stephanie Hodge over in California who has experience. And then there are times you got to be careful. There are fake stars, accounts on Facebook, be wary.
That's right.
And then also some stars you might hit and they're like, I don't want to talk to anybody. So you get denied. So you don't want to sit there and just try. It's just like if you were talking to a normal person. Hey, you want to be Facebook friends? Nope. Okay. Hey, this fella. And then sometimes like Stephanie and I clicked. And she's a ton of fun, as we know. And I'm always promoting her episode. When I tell people, I have these business cards, folks, if you don't know. And I'll be walking around. I go to the grocery store while I'm cleaning. Hey, do you like podcast? And that's one of the ones. I want everyone to listen to all our shows, but I think that's the funniest one. So I'm like, you got to listen to this. And that's my worm. I'm hooking them in like a fisherman.
Yeah, Stephanie Hodge was a fun episode. She was funny. And we had a lot of conversation with her off camera, and both on and off camera, she had me rolling. My ribs were hurting after that episode. Yeah. I think I saw Brian hand a business card to a telephone pole one time. He passes those things out, and we've gotten a lot of listeners thanks to his in-person contacts with people.
Well, you make fun of the telephone pole. That pole connects to a lot of people. You got to know how to network. Hey, so I'll tell you the story. You've heard it, I'm sure. My wife and I went on the Disney cruise March of this year. And Disney people are like me to begin with, and they love to talk to each other. And when I'm at the grocery store giving out the cards, if a person starts talking like, hey, do you like podcasts? I always hit them with that. And they go, no. Conversation stops. Oh, I'm kind of interested. Or if they're just friendly people and I start, that's how I know I can at least hit the pitch. So I'm on the Disney cruise, and friendliest people that are, they're just like me. Now we're on a cruise and we're locked in a boat. You can't go nowhere, and we're all talkies. So we get in the elevator, my wife and I, and there's a couple, and she looks at me. She's not an introvert, but she's like, I don't really want to talk to people. That's it. That's Brian's thing. So I look at these people and say, do you like podcasts? Oh, no, but you obviously have one. Let's talk about it. And I hit him with my spiel. I even, as the elevator door opens, I hold it open, give him the card. She looks at me and goes, this is not my wife. This is the lady says, you have such a magnetic personality. You're going to do great at this. Oh, thank you. Bye-bye. Doors closed. My wife's just standing there. I turned to her and went, magnetic personality. She was pissed. She's like, oh. We get to our floor. We're walking down the hall. I'm like, magnetic personality. By the time we got to the door, I read it's like, that's all I can do. We open up, and this was my first cruise. She goes, "Hey, watch out for the walls." And I thought about it because the walls are metal. I go, "Magnetic?" Hey, you're trying to insult me, but it's true. Next day, we got off at Cozumel. We're coming back in. As we step into the elevator, it's the same couple and another couple. And so I told them the story, how I got my wife's eyes rolling at me. And the lady goes, "Honey, he does. He has such a magnetic personality. It's great." And the next couple goes, "What are y'all talking about?" So I whip out a card. "Do you like podcasts?" So I'm always doing that.
That's funny. That's funny. Last but not least, I also want to announce that I am going to be launching my own YouTube channel that doesn't have anything to do with the podcast or acting really per se, but there will be opportunities for acting on the channel. So as that starts to grow and progress, I'll be reaching out to people, or people can reach out to me if they're interested, and we'll see what kind of fun we can have with that.
You're leaving me? Okay.
You're muted.
I'm muted?
Mm-hmm.
I hit unmute. See, these are the technical problems we're going to have to overcome for live stream. Can you hear me now?
There it is. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I leaned off, but I was saying, TJ's leaving me, doing another podcast.
No, it's not. It's not going to be a podcast.
Okay.
It's a YouTube channel that's completely different. It's not a podcast at all.
Oh, okay. Then I'm fully on board. You go do that.
No, it's a regular YouTube channel. It is not a podcast, and it is going to be funny.
Cool. Stay tuned, folks.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. More to come. So for now, I think that's all we have. Thanks for listening, and we're taking a short break. We just finished season 2. We're going to take a short break and then start recording with guests again and start publishing new content. Don't know exactly when yet, but we are going to keep this thing going.
Yep.
So thank you to everybody who has listened to the podcast. Thank you to everybody that has given us a positive rating and sent in positive comments. We really, really appreciate that. That helps us move forward, and it helps the channel grow. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I got to go get my wrangle on so we can get more guests for you.
That's right. We'll see you next time.
Do you want to stop it?